Well, that was disappointing. Who's seen the new season finale of Daredevil Born Again Season 2? Come on now. Know who you are. I know you watched it. I did. And they missed a big opportunity with this one. And it's very disappointing because they had a great story, great characters, and a massive boss fight that they could have potentially had towards the end of the episode, and they ruined it. So the episode starts off with Karen Page's trial, and they're waiting for the trial to start and the people to come in, and waiting for Matt, who is missing from the trial. And he, in the previous episode, got shot due to an ambush in the parking lot of the courthouse. And he is recovering, and Bullseye is actually trying to fix him up and wrap a bandage around his leg, try and get him to court on time. And so he's limping and hardly able to walk, and somehow manages to get into court, and much to the disbelief of all the people around them, thinking that he was dead from the ambush, but actually no, he wasn't. Surprise, he returns. They spend a good 20 minutes going through Karen's case, and they bring up Kingpin, aka Wilson Fisk, to come onto the stand. And so they question him and try and poke holes at all the initiatives that he has put in place during his mayorship, and outright tell him that he's the one who's been smuggling guns and drugs and all sorts using the port. And this is where Matt Murdock reveals to the world that he is Daredevil, and shock and awe across the entire courtroom. And so this is what really sort of seals Wilson Fisk's fate, his testimony. And so the courtroom ends, and they go to their different areas of the courthouse, and all hell breaks loose. There's rioting outside, and there's a bit of a standoff on the steps at the courthouse between the task force and the general public. And so they are going hammer and tongs and seeing who will break first, whilst all this is going on in the courtroom, and it's just pure chaos. And so in the meantime, Bullseye is helping Matt Murdock and is actually being framed by task force, and he's being set up for an assassination attempt. But he catches wind on this and goes to the window where the attempt is taking place and neutralizes the threat and holds and supports Matt whilst everything is going on inside. They spend a good 25 minutes waiting and finding what's going on, and then all of a sudden the courthouse gets stormed into by the general public, and away we go. This is kind of what the entire series has been like. It's a slow burn. Not much happens at all, and Daredevil almost gets pushed to the side, and they seem to concentrate on other characters like BB, and James Gandolfini's son's character is working with her and trying to, feed her information, and also the weird British guy. And, they spend 2 episodes on Vanessa dying. Like, do they really need to spend 2 episodes on waiting for her to die and waiting for Fisk to lose control? And, even when Jessica Jones does turn up, she only helps out Matt in like 1 episode where they storm the task force supply unit. And that's basically it. That's all they do. What I would say is there was a really great episode where Matt rescues the prisoners and sort of fights alongside the swordsman, who I found to be quite an interesting and fun character. Kind of reminded me of Zorro a little bit, and he had a sort of flair and flamboyance to his sword fighting skills, which I felt were really quite cool and really sort of worked well with Daredevil. And it just seemed to go off the rails a little bit, and with these side characters that really didn't do a whole lot, and it came to a conclusion that was very unsatisfying, especially at the end of the final episode. I was expecting to have a final boss mode fight between Daredevil and Wilson Fisk, Kingpin. Yet all they do is just storm the Capitol building or storm the courtroom, and it's very much taken from true to life events that have happened in recent years. And they are not even hiding it either. It is very much in our faces whilst you're watching this episode, and you're sat there watching it thinking, like, huh, I've seen this before. And it just lacks imagination. And it's really disappointing when you're sitting there and they've spent all this money making this show and that's what they could come up with. Hmm, I'm not sure about this one. And I probably won't even bother watching season 3 if there is one. Also, after the events of the finale, you'd expect there maybe be like a callback to No Way Home, or like a link to Brand New Day, the new Spider-Man film coming out. And there was nothing. Not even a post-credit scene. There's no link to it at all whatsoever, which makes you wonder why they left it out. And you just think to yourself, again, another missed opportunity to really make a cohesive storyline like when they did with the first phase of the Marvel series. I dread to think actually what they're going to do with the Punisher episode, judging from this season of Daredevil. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be the same setup. It will be a very slow burn. All of what we've seen in the trailer so far is all the action sequences that we're probably going to get. So I'm not getting my hopes up, and I dread also to think what they got in plan, what they got in store for Avengers Doomsday. You know, it's all well and good returning all these characters that we know and love, but it's not necessarily a safe bet. And if they've got a good story and if they've got like a good character arc for all the characters, then yeah, I'm sure it'll be good. But I'm not holding my breath. So yeah, thank you very much for watching this video. Please let me know what you think of Daredevil Season 2 finale and what you expect to see in the new Punisher standalone episode that's going to be coming soon, and what your hopes are for Avengers Doomsday. It's not looking good, folks. Thank you very much for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe to my channel, and I shall see you in the next video.